Morning guys, it's Toppy here from Top Crypto. Just wanted to go through a quick little cap over where the crypto market is at current. It's been a bit of a tough week for crypto investors. We've seen pretty much red candles in a lot of the sort of top 100 coins. The week before we had a bit of a move in the upwards directions, but just wanted to sort of cover a few things that are on my mind. The first thing is this tweet here, as Bitcoin is about to loose, I think he means lose there, 40k. This is the most critical level for the bulls BTC price analysis. Well, I don't know about that personally, because if we go into coin market cap and look at the Bitcoin price over the last sort of 6 to 12 months, the last time we went on a dip, it hit 30k. So if I take it to the yearly, we sort of had at the beginning of the year this run up to 60, almost 65k there, and then, as you all know, sort of dipped pretty hard, and we got all the way down to 29,800, and at that point it was looking very bearish, and then sort of there was some news about Bitcoin getting an ETF approved, and then it's gone on another run and actually gone higher. So we're currently here at the moment, 41,000. I would say if we go lower than 30,000, that's probably where you would start to reconsider sort of your price predictions, and I guess where we are in the cycle, whether we are in a bit of a bear cycle. These charts are, one thing about them, when you get all these guys who are trying to predict the price through chart patterns, just looking at, a candle chart, if you went into, say, Binance, and then looked at the Bitcoin price chart in Binance to USDT, so one thing I wanted to mention, when you're looking at a chart like this on Binance, the one thing, like, people sort of try and draw patterns, and this is the technical analysis sort of side of things, but there's only three sort of inputs in these charts, and that is buys, sells, and time. So buys, if you have more buys than sells, it's going to move the candles in a positive upwards direction, and then if you have more sells than buys, you're going to see these candles move downwards in a negative direction. So, and then obviously time is going to move this chart along the right axis, but there's a lot more going on than just people buying and selling. It's the inputs and the parameters and all the things that cause more people to buy than sell, or cause more people to sell than buy, that these charts just cannot get. It's even like with your stock RSIs, that's basically an oscillator that represents the average buy and sell pressure with time. So it still, once again, using these indicators, only gives you time and then buying and selling. That doesn't measure anything like good or bad news, like whether, if we were to look at this on the weekly and then go back to what I was talking about before, where we hit this sort of 30,000 peak, the reason it started to move upwards is, on a real sort of macro level, is more people are buying than selling, But when you start to get into the micro of it all, there is more stuff at play that these charts just can't sort of measure. So at this point, there was an ETF approved in the US for Bitcoin. Now that is really good news. That's going to change market sentiment, and that's going to move it up. You know, at these points, you've had these massive market crashes which came off the China banning all Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. So that's news that this chart just can't measure. So if we want to draw triangles and sort of create patterns here and there as to how we predict the market's going to do, yes, they're sort of useful, but it's only working backwards in time, and you can't predict what the future holds in terms of progress in the cryptocurrency space. So that's sort of why I just want to sort of have a bit of a rant about, you know, posts like that. If we get some really bad news, then, like, you know, the US bans Bitcoin tomorrow, then yeah, that's gonna, you would imagine that that's gonna make it go red. You know, the market would not receive something like that very well. But, you know, I'm expecting that the US is, the SEC sort of held off on 2 Bitcoin spot ETFs that were in the process of getting approval till February. They declined a number of them towards the end of last year, but they held off on giving the sort of what their answer was on 2 of these ETFs. So if they've held off because they're going to approve it in February, then you would imagine that this is going to go in an upwards direction, and it should take the rest of the market with it. Yeah, so if you go back to the top 100, as you can see, Bitcoin's sort of hovering around that 41,000 mark. It's been sitting there for a bit. Solana's positive. It's one of the very few, and it's just positive. So there's a lot of red in the market at the moment. It is a weekend, so generally the markets don't do too well over the weekends. But yeah, we're seeing sort of generally between a 1 to, you got 12.88% drop for Cosmos there. Internet Computers just in the green. Unos said Leo's in the green. Harmony One did alright last week. It's actually gone up on the 7-day. Pancake Swaps in the red. It's taken a bit of a dump. Aave's taken a dump. That sounds funny when you hear it like that, but Gala Games dropped heaps. Curves dropped. Loopring's dropped. Been pretty sort of brutal for crypto investors, but to be honest, this is sort of the mental side of it. Is this is the time you want to be buying. You know, you want to be buying when you're unsure about where the market's going to go, because that's when you've generally sweated for enough, you know, a long enough period of time that you would, you know, obviously you've seen a decent price drop, and if you can get in there, it may continue to go down, but when it does go back up, at least you're not buying at the top, you're buying low. You know, trying to buy at the very bottom and time that is very difficult to do. You may pull it off here and there, but as a whole, it's very difficult to do time and time again. You know, if you get, you know, if it's hit rock bottom, you know, there's usually a few ledges that you hit on the way down. If you can catch one of those ledges, that's better than sort of buying at the peak of the mountain. So yeah, there's generally nothing really good to report. Flux is doing alright. Let's see why Flux is doing alright. Flux crypto news. Go onto Twitter, see if there's any reason why that's going up. So there's no sort of reason looking at here as to why. There's a partnership announcement. NVIDIA. That's pretty good. AI deep learning and building and mixing CNN, DNNs and RNNs about to be cheaper than ever. So that might be why you've seen the sort of green run there on Flux. That's pretty good. Maybe worth checking that out. Not particularly too familiar with what Flux is as a project, but it's obviously moving in a positive direction. Phantasma's got a bit of a bump up today, still down on the weekly. Power Ledger is up, down today though. Looks like it's had a bit of a run recently. Yeah, it's not much good news. Although, you know, my sort of, if you were to ask me to guess where the market will go this week, I would say you'll get a bit of recovery. It may just be sort of this Christmas period, but it's been a bit brutal for everyone, I guess. So let's just hope that we see some sort of green candles this week. I think that'll be good. Definitely be good for everyone's sort of stress levels at the moment. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'll try and keep some more sort of crypto content coming out as frequently as possible. This is Toppy from Top Crypto. Have a good day.